Okay. Prior to us talking to you, as we agreed with your attorney, I'm going to give you your attorney, I'm going to give you your constitutional rights. And I would like you to listen carefully. If you don't understand anything, tell me, okay? We're good. All right. Dynamic. Okay. The truth. I proclaim my innocence. Absolute. I ended up not, but I was in no mood to listen to lawyers. I'm going with them. I'm going to do whatever they ask me to do. Howard was adamant. He didn't want me to talk to him. And he was getting pretty hot and bothered about it. OJ, he said, you're making a mistake. I'm not going to sit here and try to cover my ass, I replied, getting a little hot and bothered myself. I've read enough thrillers and watched enough TV movies and seen enough shit on the news to know that the first guy they go to in these types of situations is the spouse, or the ex-spouse, or the boyfriend. I'm not going to be one of those people who get described as an uncooperative witness. Howard tried to tell me that that wasn't the point. That we needed to take a moment to gather our thoughts and to try to figure out where things stood. And that once we had more information, I could be the most cooperative witness in the world. But I didn't want to wait that long. I wanted to know what the cops knew, and I wanted to know right away. I don't need a lawyer, I told Howard. I'm innocent. And yeah, I know what you're thinking. Everybody's innocent. The prisons are filled with guys who didn't do shit. But that's my point. Half of you think I did it, and nothing will ever make you change your minds. The other half know I didn't do it, and all the evidence in the world, planted or otherwise, isn't going to sway you either. But this wasn't about that. This was about me, the prime suspect, the accused party, and I did what all accused men do at the moment of truth. I proclaimed my innocence. Absolutely 100% not guilty, Your Honor. You might remember that phrase. I used it at the beginning of the trial. I turned to look at Howard again. I'm going to talk to him, I said. I don't care about anything else. I want to know exactly what the fuck is going on. And that was the truth. My ex-wife was dead. I was exhausted. I needed to know what the cops knew. I wanted to get through this thing as quickly as possible. And I wanted desperately to see my kids. So I got in the car with Van Adder and Lang, and we went down to Parker Center for the interview. No bullshit, no lawyers, no interference. Just me and them. If it had only been that easy. 7. The interrogation. On June 13th, 1994, a little after 1:30 p.m., I found myself in an interrogation room at Parker Center in downtown Los Angeles, talking to Philip Van Adder and Thomas Lang, the two cops who were leading the investigation. The interview lasted 32 minutes, and the entire transcript follows. Van Adder, my partner Detective Lang, and we're in an interview room in Parker Center. The date is June 13th, 1994, and the time is 13:35 hours. And we're here with O.J. Simpson. Is that Orenthal James Simpson? O.J. 7. The I didn't want to wait that long. I wanted to know what the cops knew, and I wanted to know right away. I don't need a lawyer, I told Howard. I'm innocent. And yeah, I know what you're thinking. Everybody's innocent. The prisons are filled with guys who didn't do shit. But that's my point. Half of you think I did it, and nothing will ever make you change your minds. The other half know I didn't do it, and all the evidence in the world, planted or otherwise, isn't going to sway you either. But this wasn't about that. This was about me, the prime suspect, the accused party, and I did what all accused men do at the moment of truth. I proclaimed my innocence. Absolutely 100% not guilty, Your Honor. You might remember that phrase. I used it at the beginning of the trial. I turned to look at Howard again. I'm going to talk to them, I said. I don't care about anything else. I want to know exactly what the fuck is going on. And that was the truth. My ex-wife was dead. I was exhausted. I needed to know what the cops knew. I wanted to get through this thing as quickly as possible. And I wanted desperately to see my kids. So I got in the car with Van Adder and Lang, and we went down to Parker Center for the interview. No bullshit, no lawyers, no interference. Just me and them. If it had only been that easy. 7. The interrogation. On June 13, 1994, a little after 1:30 p.m., I found myself in an interrogation room at Parker Center in downtown Los Angeles, talking to Philip Van Adder and Thomas Lang, the two cops who were leading the investigation. The interview lasted 32 minutes, and the entire transcript follows. Van Adder: my partner, Detective Lang, and we're in an interview room in Parker Center. The date is June 13th, 1994, and the time is 1335 hours. And we're here with O.J. Simpson. Is that Orenthal James Simpson? O.J. Orenthal James Simpson. Van Adder: and what is your birth date, Mr. Simpson? O.J. July 9th, 1947. Van Adder: okay. Prior to us talking to you, as we agreed with your attorney, I'm going to give you your attorney, I'm going to give you your constitutional rights. And I would like you to listen carefully. If you don't understand anything, tell me, okay? O.J. All right. Van Adder: okay. Mr. Simpson, you have the right to remain silent. If you give up the right to remain silent, anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. You have the right to speak to an attorney and to have an attorney present during the questioning. If you so desire and cannot afford one, an attorney will be appointed for you without charge before questioning. Do you understand your rights? O.J. Yes, I do. Van Adder: are there any questions about that? O.J. Van Adder: okay, you've got to speak up louder than that. O.J. Okay, no. Van Adder: okay. Do you wish to give up your right to remain silent and talk to us? O.J. Yes. Van Adder: okay, and you give up your right to have an attorney present while we talk? O.J. Mm-hmm. Yes. Van Adder: okay. All right. What we're going to do is, we're investigating, obviously, the death of your ex-wife and another man. Lang: someone told us that. Van Adder: yeah, and we're going to need to talk to you about that. Are you divorced from her now? O.J. Yes. Van Adder: how long have you been divorced? O.J. Officially, probably close to 2 years, but we've been apart for a little over 2 years. Van Adder: have you? O.J. Yeah. Van Adder: what was your relationship with her? What was the... O.J. well, we tried to get back together and it just didn't work. It wasn't working, so we were going our separate ways. Van Adder: recently you tried to get back together? O.J. we tried to get back together for about a year, when we started dating each other and seeing each other. She came back and wanted us to get back together, and... Van Adder: within the last year you're talking about? O.J. she came back about a year and 4 months ago, about us trying to get back together, and we gave it a shot. We gave it a shot the better part of a year. And I think we both knew it wasn't working. And probably 3 weeks ago or so, we said it just wasn't working, and we went our separate ways. Van Adder: okay, the 2 children are yours? O.J. yes. Lang: she have custody? O.J. we have joint custody. Lang: through the courts? O.J. we went through the courts and everything. Everything is done. We have no problem with the kids. We do everything together, you know, with the kids. Van Adder. How was your separation? What? O.J. The first separation? Van Adder. Yeah. Was there problems with that? O.J. For me, it was big problems. I loved her. I didn't want us to separate. Van Adder. Uh-huh. I understand she had made a couple of crime reports or something? O.J. Oh, we had a big fight about 6 years ago on New Year's, you know. She made a report. I didn't make a report. And then we had an altercation about a year ago, maybe. It wasn't a physical argument. I kicked her door or something. Van Adder. And she made a police report on those 2 occasions? O.J. Mm-hmm. And I stayed right there until the police came. Talked to them. Lang. Were you arrested at one time for something? O.J. No. I mean, 5 years ago we had a big fight. 6 years ago, I don't know. I know I ended up doing community service. Van Adder. So you weren't arrested? O.J. No, I was never really arrested. Lang. They never booked you or... O.J. No. Van Adder. Can I ask you, when's the last time you slept? O.J. I got a couple of hours of sleep. I mean, you know, I slept a little on the plane. Not much. When I got to hotel, I was asleep a few hours when the phone call came. Lang. Did Nicole have a housemaid that lived there? O.J. I believe so, yes. Lang. Do you know her name at all? O.J. Elvia, something like that. Van Adder. We didn't see her there. Did she have the day off, perhaps? O.J. I don't know. I don't know what schedule she's on. Lang. Phil, what do you think? You could maybe just recount last night. Van Adder. Yeah. When was the last time you saw Nicole? O.J. Well, we were leaving a dance recital. She took off and I was talking to her parents. Van Adder. Where was the dance recital? O.J. Paul Revere High School. Van Adder. And was that for one of your children? O.J. Yeah, for my daughter, Sydney. Van Adder. And what time was that yesterday? O.J. It ended about 6:30, 6:45, something like that. You know, in the ballpark. Right in that area. And they took off. Van Adder. They? O.J. Her and her family. Her mother and father, sisters, my kids, you know. Van Adder. And then you went your own separate way. O.J. Yeah, actually, she left, and then they came back, and her mother got in a car with her, and the kids all piled into her sister's car, and they... Van Adder. Was Nicole driving? O.J. Yeah. Van Adder. What kind of car was she driving? O.J. Her black car, Cherokee, Jeep Cherokee. Van Adder. What were you driving? O.J. My Rolls Royce, my Bentley. Van Adder. Do you own that Ford Bronco that sits outside? O.J. Hertz owns it, and Hertz lets me use it. Van Adder. So that's your vehicle, the one that was parked there on the street? O.J. Mm-hmm. Van Adder. And it's actually owned by Hertz? O.J. Hertz, yeah. Van Adder. Who's the primary driver on that? You? O.J. I drive it, the housekeeper drives it. You know, it's kind of a... Van Adder. All-purpose type vehicle? O.J. All-purpose, yeah. It's the only one that my insurance will allow me to let anyone else drive. Van Adder. Okay. Lang. When you drive it, where do you park it at home? Where it is now? It was in the street or something. O.J. I always park it on the street. Lang. You never take it in the, O.J. Oh, rarely. I mean, I'll bring it in and switch the stuff, you know, and stuff like that. I did that yesterday, you know. Lang. When did you last drive it? O.J. Yesterday. Van Adder. What time yesterday? O.J. In the morning, in the afternoon. Van Adder. Okay. You left her, you're saying, about 6:30 or 7, or she left the recital. O.J. Yeah. Van Adder. And you spoke with her parents? O.J. Yeah, we were just sitting there talking. Van Adder. Okay. What time did you leave the recital? O.J. Right about that time. We were all leaving. We were all leaving then. Her mother said something about me joining them for dinner, and I said no thanks. Van Adder. Where did you go from there, O.J.? O.J. Home. Home for a while. Got my car for a while. Tried to find my girlfriend for a while. Came back to the house. Van Adder. Who was home when you got home? O.J. Cato. Van Adder. Cato. Anybody else? Was your daughter there, Arnell? O.J. No. Van Adder. Isn't that her name? Arnell? O.J. Arnell, yeah. Van Adder. So what time do you think you got back home, actually physically got home? O.J. 7 something. Van Adder. 7 something?
Do you see?
And then you left and... O.J. Yeah, I'm trying to think. Did I leave? I had to run and get my daughter some flowers. I was actually doing the recital, so I rushed and got her some flowers, and I came home, and then I called Paula as I was going to her house, and Paula wasn't home. Van Adder. Paula is your girlfriend? O.J. Girlfriend, yeah. Van Adder. Paula who? O.J. Barbieri. Van Adder. Could you spell that for me? O.J. Barbieri. Van Adder. Do you know an address on her? O.J. No, she lives on Wilshire, but I think she's out of town. Van Adder. You got a phone number? O.J. Yeah. Van Adder. So you didn't see her last night? O.J. No, we'd been to a big affair the night before, and then I came back home. I was basically at home. I mean, whatever time it took me to get to the recital and back, to get to the flower shop and back, that's the time I was out of the house. Van Adder. Were you scheduled to play golf this morning, someplace? O.J. In Chicago. Van Adder. What kind of tournament was it? O.J. It was Hertz with special clients. Van Adder. Oh, okay. What time did you leave last night? Leave the house? O.J. To go to the airport? Van Adder. Mm-hmm. O.J. About, the limo was supposed to be there at 10:45. Normally they get there a little earlier. I was rushing around somewhere between there and 11. Van Adder. So approximately 10:45 to 11. O.J. 11 o'clock. Yeah, somewhere in that area. Van Adder. And you went by limo? O.J. Yeah. Van Adder. Who's the limo service? O.J. You have to ask my office. Lang. Did you converse with the driver at all? Did you talk to him? O.J. No, he was a new driver. Normally I have a regular driver I drive with and converse. No, just about rushing to the airport, and about how I live my life on airplanes and hotels, that type of thing. Lang. What time did the plane leave? O.J. 11:45, the flight took off. Van Adder. What airline was it? O.J. American. Van Adder. American? And it was 11:45 to Chicago? O.J. Chicago. Lang. So yesterday you did drive the white Bronco? O.J. Mm-hmm. Lang. And where did you park it when you brought it home? O.J. The first time probably by the mailbox. I'm trying to think, did I bring it in the driveway? Normally I will park it by the mailbox. Sometimes... Lang. On Ashford or Ashland? O.J. On Ashford, yeah. Lang. Where did you park yesterday for the last time? Do you remember? O.J. Right where it is. Lang. Where it is now? O.J. Yeah. Lang. Where? On... O.J. Right on the street there. Lang. On Ashford? O.J. No, on Rockingham. Lang. You parked it there? O.J. Yes. Lang. About what time was that? O.J. 8 something, 7, 8, 9 o'clock, I don't know, right in that area. Lang. Did you take it to the recital? O.J. No. Lang. What time was the recital? O.J. Over about 6:30. Like I said, I came home, I got my car, I was going to see my girlfriend. I was calling her and she wasn't around. Lang. So you came home in the Rolls, and then you got in the Bronco. O.J. In the Bronco, because my phone was in the Bronco, and because it's a Bronco. It's a Bronco, it's what I drive, you know. I'd rather drive it than any other car. And, you know, as I was going over there, I called her a couple of times, and she wasn't there. I left a message, then I checked my messages, and there were no new messages. She wasn't there, and she may have to leave town. Then I came back and ended up sitting with Cato. Lang. Okay. What time was this again that you parked the Bronco? O.J. 8 something, maybe. He hadn't done a jacuzzi. We had went and got a burger, and I'd come home and kind of leisurely got ready to go. I mean, we'd done a few things. Lang. You weren't in a hurry when you came back with the Bronco? O.J. No. Lang. The reason I asked you, the cars were parked kind of at a funny angle, stuck out in the street. O.J. Well, it's parked because, I don't know if it's a funny angle or what. It's parked because when I was hustling at the end of the day to get all my stuff, and I was getting my phone and everything off it, when I just pulled it out of the gate there, it's like a tight turn. Lang. So you had it inside the compound then? O.J. Yeah. Lang. Oh, okay. O.J. I brought it inside the compound to get my stuff out of it, and then I put it out, and I'd run back inside the gate before the gate closes. Van Adder. O.J., what's your office phone number? O.J. gives the number. Van Adder. And is that area code 310? O.J. Yes. Van Adder. How did you get the injury on your hand? O.J. I don't know. First time when I was in Chicago and all, but at the house I was just running around. Van Adder. How did you do it in Chicago? O.J. I broke a glass. One of you guys had just called me, and I was in the bathroom, and I just kind of went bonkers for a little bit. Lang. Is that how you cut it? O.J. It was cut before, but I think it just opened again. I'm not sure. Lang. Do you recall bleeding at all in your truck, in the Bronco? O.J. I recall bleeding at my house, and then I went to the Bronco. The last thing I did before I left when I was rushing was went and got my phone out of the Bronco. Lang. Where's the phone now? O.J. In my bag. Lang. You have it? O.J. In that black bag. Lang. You brought a bag with you here? O.J. Yeah, it's... Lang. So, do you recall bleeding at all? O.J. Yeah, I mean, I knew I was bleeding, but it was no big deal. I bleed all the time. I play golf and stuff, so there's always something, nicks and stuff here and there. Lang. So, did you do anything? When did you put the Band-Aid on it? O.J. Actually, I asked the girl this morning for it. Lang. And she got it? O.J. Yeah, 'cause last night with Cato, when I was leaving, he was saying something to me, and I was rushing to get my phone, and I did put a little thing on it, and it stopped. Van Adder. Do you have the keys to that Bronco? O.J. Yeah. Van Adder. Okay, we've impounded the Bronco. I don't know if you know that or not. O.J. No. Van Adder. Take a look at it. Other than you, who's the last person to drive it? O.J. Probably Gigi. When I'm out of town, I don't know who drives that car. Maybe my daughter, maybe Cato. Van Adder. The keys are available? O.J. I leave the keys there, when Gigi's there, because sometimes she needs it, or Gigi was off and wasn't coming back until today, and I was coming back tonight. Van Adder. So you don't mind if Gigi uses it, or... OJ. This is the only one I can let her use when she doesn't have her car, because sometimes her husband takes her car. I let her use the car. Lang. When was the last time you were at Nicole's house? OJ. I don't go in. I won't go into her house. I haven't been in her house in a week, maybe 5 days. I go to her house a lot. I'm always dropping the kids off, picking the kids up, fooling around with the dog, Van Adder. How does that usually work? Do you drop them at the porch, or do you go in with them? OJ. No, I don't go in the house. Van Adder. Is there a kind of gate out front? OJ. Yeah. Van Adder. But you never go inside the house? OJ. Up until about 5 days, 6 days ago, I haven't been in the house. Once I started seeing Paula again, I kind of avoid Nicole. Van Adder. Is Nicole seeing anybody else that you... OJ. I have no idea. I really have absolutely no idea. I don't ask her. I don't know. Her and her girlfriends, they go out, They got some things going on right now with their girlfriends. So I'm assuming something's happening, because one of the girlfriends is having a big problem with her husband, because she's always saying she's with Nicole until 3 or 4 in the morning. She's not. Nicole tells me she leaves her at 1:30 or 2 or 2:30, and the girl doesn't get home until 5, and she only lives a few blocks away. Van Adder. Something's going on, huh? Lang. Do you know where they went, the family, for dinner last night? OJ. No, I didn't ask. Lang. I just thought maybe there's a regular place that they go. OJ. No. If I was with them, we'd go to Toscana. Not Toscano, Papone's. Van Adder. You haven't had any problems with her lately, have you, OJ? OJ. I always have problems with her, Our relationship has been a problem relationship. Probably lately for me, and I say this only because I said it to Ron yesterday at the... Ron Fishman, whose wife is Cora, at the dance recital, when he came up to me and went, "Oh, boy, what's going on?" And everybody was beefing with everybody. And I said, well, I'm just glad I'm out of the mix. Because I was like dealing with him and his problems with his wife and Nicole, and evidently some new problems that a guy named Christian was having with his girl, and she was staying in Nicole's house, and something was going on, but I don't think it's pertinent to this. Van Adder. Did Nicole have words with you last night? OJ. Pardon me? Van Adder. Did Nicole have words with you last night? OJ. No, not at all. Van Adder. Did you talk to her last night? OJ. To ask to speak to my daughter, to congratulate my daughter and everything. Van Adder. But you didn't have a conversation with her? OJ. No. Van Adder. What were you wearing last night, OJ? OJ. What did I wear on the golf course yesterday? Some of these kind of pants. I changed different for whatever it was. I just had on some... Van Adder. Just these black pants? OJ. Just these... They're called Bugle Boy. Van Adder. These aren't the pants. OJ. No. Van Adder. Where are the pants that you wore? OJ. They're hanging in my closet. Van Adder. These are washable, right? You just throw them in the laundry? OJ. Yeah, I got 100 pair. They give them to McFree, Bugle Boys, so I got a bunch of them. Van Adder. Do you recall coming home and hanging them up, or... OJ. I always hang up my clothes. It's rare that I don't hang up my clothes unless I'm laying them in my bathroom for her to do something with them. But those are the only things I don't hang up. But when you play golf, you don't necessarily dirty pants. Lang. What kind of shoes were you wearing? OJ. Tennis shoes. Lang. Tennis shoes? Do you know what kind? OJ. Probably Reebok. That's all I wear. Lang. Are they at home too? OJ. Yeah. Lang. Was this supposed to be a short trip to Chicago, so you didn't take a whole lot? OJ. Yeah, I was coming back today. Lang. Just overnight? OJ. Yeah. Van Adder. That's a hectic schedule. Drive back here to play golf and come back? OJ. Yeah, but I do it all the time. Bannatter. Do you? OJ. Yeah, that's what I was complaining with the driver about, you know. But my whole life is on and off airplanes. Bannatter. OJ, you've got sort of a problem. OJ. Mm-hmm. Bannatter. We've got some blood on and in your car. We've got some blood at your house, and sort of a problem. OJ. Well, take my blood test. Lang. Well, we'd like to do that. We've got, of course, the cut on your finger that you aren't real clear on. Do you recall having that cut on your finger the last time you were at Nicole's house? OJ. A week ago? Lang. Yeah. OJ. No, it was last night. Lang. Okay, so last night you cut it. Bannatter. Somewhere after the recital? OJ. Somewhere when I was rushing to get out of my house. Bannatter. Okay, after the recital. OJ. Yeah. Bannatter. What do you think happened? Do you have any idea? OJ. I have no idea, man. You guys haven't told me anything. I have no idea. When you said to my daughter, who said something to me today that somebody else might have been involved, I have absolutely no idea what happened. I don't know how, why, or what. But you guys haven't told me anything. Every time I ask you guys, you say you're going to tell me in a bit. Bannatter. Well, we don't know a lot of answers to these questions yet ourselves, OJ. Okay? OJ. I got a bunch of guns. Guns all over the place. You can take them. They're all there. I mean, you can see them. I keep them in my car for an incident that happened a month ago that my in-laws, my wife, and everybody knows about that. Bannatter. What was that? OJ. Going down to... And cops down there know about it because I've told 2 marshals about it. At a mall, I was going down for a christening, and I just left. And it was like 3:30 in the morning, and I'm in a lane, and also the car in front of me is going real slow and slowing down because I figure he sees a cop, because we're all going pretty fast. And I'm about to change lanes, but there's a car next to me, and I can't change lanes. Then that goes for a while, and I'm going to slow down and go around him, but the car butts up to me, and I'm like caught between 3 cars. They were Oriental guys, and they would not let me go anywhere. And finally I went on the shoulder, and I sped up, and then I held my phone up so they could see the light part of it, you know, because I have tinted windows, and they kind of scattered. And I chased one of them for a while to make them think I was chasing them before I took off. Lang. Were you in the Bronco? OJ. No. Lang. What were you driving? OJ. My Bentley. It has tinted windows and all, so I figured that they thought they had a nice little touch. Lang. Did you think they were trying to rip you off? OJ. Definitely they were. And then the next thing, you know, Nicole and I went home. At 4 in the morning, I got there to Laguna, and when we woke up, I told her about it, and told her parents about it, told everybody about it, you know. And when I saw 2 marshals at a mall, I walked up and told them about it. Bannatter. What did they do? Make a report on it? OJ. They didn't know nothing. I mean, they'll remember me, and remember I told them. Bannatter. Did Nicole mention that she'd been getting any threats lately to you? Anything that she was concerned about, or the kids' safety? OJ. To her? Bannatter. Yes. OJ. From... Bannatter. From anybody. OJ. No, not at all. Bannatter. Was she very security conscious? Did she keep that house locked up? OJ. Very. Bannatter. The intercom didn't work, apparently, right? OJ. I thought it worked. Bannatter. Oh, okay. Does the electronic buzzer work? OJ. The electronic buzzer works to let people in. Bannatter. Do you ever park in the rear when you go over there? OJ. Most of the time. Bannatter. You do park in the rear. OJ. Most times when I'm taking the kids there, I come right into the driveway, blow the horn, and she, or a lot of times the housekeeper, either the housekeeper opens or they'll keep a garage door open on the top of the thing, you know. But that's when I'm dropping the kids off and I'm not going in. There's times I go to the front because the kids have to hit the buzzer and stuff. Van Adder. Did you say before that, up until about 3 weeks ago, you guys were going out again and trying to... OJ. No, we've been going out for about a year. And then the last 6 months we've had... It ain't been working, so we tried various things to see if we can make it work. We started trying to date, and that wasn't working, and so, we just said, hell with it, Van Adder. And that was about 3 weeks ago. OJ. Yeah, about 3 weeks ago. Van Adder. So you were seeing her up to that point? OJ. It's... Well, seeing her, yeah. Yeah. It was a done deal. It just wasn't happening. I was gone. I was in San Juan doing a film, and I don't think we had sex since I've been back from San Juan, and that was like 2 months ago. So it's been like, for the kids, we tried to do things together, We didn't really date each other. Then we decided, let's try to date each other. We went out one night, and it just didn't work. Van Adder. When you say it didn't work, what do you mean? OJ. The night we went out, it was fun. And the next night we went out, it was actually when I was down in Laguna, and she didn't want to go out. And I said, well, let's go out, because I came all the way down here to go out. And we kind of had a beef. And it just didn't work after that, We were only trying to date to see if we could bring some romance back into our relationship. We just said, let's treat each other like boyfriend and girlfriend instead of, like 17-year-old married people. 17 years together, whatever that is. Van Adder. How long were you together? OJ. 17 years. Van Adder. 17 years. Did you ever hit her, OJ? OJ. One night we had a fight. We had a fight and she hit me. And they never took my statement. They never wanted to hear my side. And they never wanted to hear the housekeeper's side. Nicole was drunk. She did her thing. She started tearing up my house, I didn't punch her or anything, but I... Van Adder. Slapped her a couple of times. OJ. No. I wrestled her is what I did. I didn't slap her at all. Nicole's a strong girl. She's one of the most conditioned women. Since that period of time, she's hit me a few times, but I've never touched her after that. And I'm telling you, it's 5-6 years ago. Van Adder. What is her birth date? OJ. May 19th. Van Adder. Did you get together with her on her birthday? OJ. Yeah, her and I and the kids, I believe. Van Adder. Did you give her a gift? OJ. I gave her a gift. Van Adder. What did you give her? OJ. I gave her either a bracelet or the earrings. Van Adder. Did she keep them, or... OJ. Oh, no. When we split, she gave me both the earrings and the bracelet back. I bought her a very nice bracelet. I don't know if it was Mother's Day or her birthday. And I bought her the earrings for the other thing, and when we split, and it's a credit to her, she felt that it wasn't right that she had it. And I said, good, because I want them back. Van Adder. Was that the very day of her birthday, May 19th, or was it a few days later? OJ. What do you mean? Van Adder. You gave it to her on the 19th of May, her birthday, right? This bracelet? OJ. I may have given her the earrings. No, the bracelet. May 19th. When was Mother's Day? Van Adder. Mother's Day was around that. OJ. No, it was probably her birthday, yes. Van Adder. And did she return it the same day? OJ. Oh, no, I'm in a funny place here on this, all right? She returned it, both of them, 3 weeks ago or so. Because when I say I'm in a funny place on this, it was because I gave it to my girlfriend and I told her it was for her. And that was 3 weeks ago. I told her I bought it for her. What am I going to do with it? Lang. Did Mr. Weitzman, your attorney, talk to you anything about this polygraph we brought up before? What are your thoughts on that? OJ. Should I talk about my thoughts on that? I'm sure eventually I'll do it, but it's like I've got some weird thoughts now. I've had weird thoughts. When you've been with a person for 17 years, you think everything. I've got to understand what this thing is. If it's true blue, I don't mind doing it. Lang. Well, you're not compelled at all to take this thing, number one. And number two, I don't know if Mr. Weitzman explained it to you. This goes to the exclusion of someone as much as the inclusion, so we can eliminate people, and just to get things straight. OJ. But does it work for elimination? Lang. Oh yes, we use it for elimination more than anything. OJ. Well, I'll talk to him about it. Lang. Understand the reason we're talking to you is because you're the ex-husband. OJ. I know, I'm the number one target, and now you'll tell me I've got blood all over the place. Lang. Well, there's blood at your house in the driveway, and we've got a search warrant, and we're going to go get the blood. We found some in your house. Is that your blood that's there? OJ. If it's dripped, it's what I dripped running around trying to leave. Lang. Last night? OJ. Yeah, and I wasn't aware that it was... I was aware that I was trying to get out of the house. I didn't even pay any attention to it. I saw it when I was in the kitchen, and I grabbed a napkin or something, and that was it. I didn't think about it after that. Van Adder. That was last night after you got home from the recital, when you were rushing? OJ. That was last night when I don't know what I was. I was in the car getting junk out of my car. I was in the house throwing hangers and stuff in my suitcase. I was doing my little crazy what I do. I mean, I do it everywhere. Anybody who's ever picked me up says that OJ's a whirlwind. He's running, he's grabbing things. That's what I was doing. Van Adder. Well, I'm going to step out, and I'm going to get a photographer to come down and photograph your hand there. And then here pretty soon, we're going to take you downstairs and get some blood from you. Okay? I'll be right back. Lang. So it was about 5 days ago you last saw Nicole. Was it at the house? OJ. Okay, the last time I saw Nicole, physically saw Nicole, I saw her obviously last night. The time before, I'm trying to think. I went to Washington, D.C., so I didn't see her. So I'm trying to think. I haven't seen her since I went to Washington. But what's the date today? Lang. Today's Monday, the 13th of June. OJ. Okay, I went to Washington on maybe Wednesday. Thursday, I was in Connecticut, then Long Island on Thursday afternoon, and all of Friday. I got home Friday afternoon. I played, Paula picked me up at the airport. I played golf Saturday. And when I came home, I think my son was there. So I did something with my son. I don't think I saw Nicole at all then. And then I went to a big affair with Paula Saturday night. And I got up and played golf Sunday, which pissed Paula off. And I saw Nicole it was about a week before. I saw her at the Lang. Okay, the last time you saw Nicole, was that at her house? OJ. I don't remember. I wasn't in her house, so it couldn't have been at her house. So it was, I don't physically remember the last time I saw her. I may have even seen her jogging one day. Lang. Let me get this straight. You've never physically been inside the house. OJ. Not in the last week. Lang. Ever? I mean, how long has she lived there? About 6 months? OJ. Oh, Christ. I've slept at the house many, many, many times, I've done everything at the house, I'm just saying, you're talking in the last week or so. Lang. Well, whatever. 6 months she's lived there? OJ. I don't know, roughly. I was at a house maybe 2 weeks ago, 10 days ago. One night, her and I had a long talk, about how can we make it better for the kids. And I told her we'd do things better. And okay, I can almost say when that was. That was when, I don't know, it was about 10 days ago. And then the next day, I had her have her dog do a flea bath or something with me. Oh, I'll tell you, I did see her one day. One day I went, I don't know if this was the early part of last week. I went because my son had to go and get something, and he ran in. And she came to the gate, and the dog ran out, and her friend Faye and I went looking for the dog. That may have been a week ago, I don't know. Lang to Van Adder. Got a photographer coming? Van Adder. No, we're going to take him up there. Lang. We're ready to terminate this at 14:07. And that was that. We went off to another part of the building. A photographer took a few pictures of the cut on my finger, and the cops gave me a ride back to Rockingham. We didn't say a word the whole way. The press was there when I pulled up, and their numbers had grown. I had to fight my way into my own house, with some of the more aggressive reporters practically trampling each other to get at me. 24 people were waiting for me inside, mostly friends and family, and I greeted them in a complete fog. Bob Kardashian and Howard Weitzman were also there, eager to learn how it had gone at Parker Center. They took me aside and asked me to tell them exactly what I told the cops. I couldn't remember much, but I remembered getting a little flustered when they asked me what I thought had happened at the condo, like I knew more than I was letting on. That pissed me off a little, to be honest, but I felt like I pretty much kept it together. Still, I was sure I got some things wrong. I was especially troubled by all this so-called blood all over the place, and in the Bronco in particular. I thought maybe I'd cut myself in the house the previous night, rushing around to get ready for the flight to Chicago, but I wasn't really clear on how it had happened or exactly when. And I'd recently cut myself in the Bronco reaching for my cell phone charger, but I couldn't remember how recently. And hadn't I cut myself in Chicago when I threw that glass? Or was that an old cut that just got opened up? Christ, it was hard to keep track of things. I don't know how they expected me to remember so much detail when half the time I couldn't remember what I'd had for dinner the previous night, or where I was supposed to be later that day. The only thing that mattered was that they believed me. I was 100% not guilty. They had to believe me. That's not the way it looked to the cops, though. They had spent hours going through every room in the house, looking for evidence. And it's certainly not the way it looked on the news. We went into the den and flipped through the channels. The major networks were all over the story, and they all seemed to be saying the same thing. O.J. did it. That really threw me. People were starting to think that I was capable of murder. Worse, the media was starting to dissect my relationship with Nicole, a woman I had loved for 15 years before everything went to hell. I could already see the story taking shape. She was leaving him, and he loved her and wanted her back, and when he realized she wasn't coming back, he went over to her place and killed her. Things were quickly getting out of control. The press interviewed anybody they could get their hands on, whether it was a passing neighbor near the Bundy condo or a cleaning woman up on Ashford. I didn't realize so many people were so desperate to appear on TV, but I guess that's Hollywood for you. I also saw plenty of file footage on yours truly, documenting my glory days on the football field, my many years as a football analyst, and my various business successes. But the stories always came full circle and ended on me and Nicole, the young waitress I'd swept off her feet when she was barely 18, the storybook romance that turned volatile and ended in divorce, and endlessly, this crazy notion that I wanted her back. Who the fuck were these people, thinking they knew anything about my relationship with Nicole? There'd been a time, almost 2 years earlier, when Nicole decided she wanted to separate. And yes, I had fought hard to make her change her mind. But she wouldn't change her mind, and I moved on. Months later, she found she was having second thoughts, and she wrote to share them with me. O.J., you'll be my one and only true love. I'm sorry for the pain I've caused you, and I'm sorry we let it die. Please let us be a family again and let me love you better than I ever have before. So I tried again, and I put a whole goddamn year into it, and we failed miserably. And when it finally ended, I was glad to be out of it. Everyone who knew Nicole and me knew that story, but the reporters didn't want that story. They didn't support their theory. To hear them tell it, I'd been pining for Nicole for the past 2 years, begging her to come home, and on the night of June 12th, I finally snapped. It was unreal. As I stood there, watching one misguided reporter after another, each of them hammering the same theme, I felt like I was losing my mind. The real story, as I've told you, was much simpler and much less dramatic. Nicole and I had been together for 17 years. The first 15 had been absolutely terrific. The last 2 had been total hell. Sounds like a lot of marriages, right? But now, everything I was hearing about myself was based on a cartoon version of those last 2 years. I heard myself described as an obsessively jealous ex-husband so many times that the media almost had me believing it. To make matters worse, a number of reporters ran around interviewing these so-called experts on battered women, creating the impression that Nicole had been a battered woman, and that I, O.J. Simpson, her former husband, was a known batterer. I remember hearing the phrase escalating violence a number of times and wondering how it applied to us. I realized that anyone listening to those particular reports would come away thinking that there had been some kind of pattern in our marriage, that I had repeatedly beat my wife, and that the beatings had become progressively worse. Jesus! I hadn't even begun to mourn Nicole, and here they were, telling me and the world that I'd beat her mercilessly. Whenever I changed the channel, I'd come across a variation on the same theme. Someone would be talking to another one of these so-called experts about the right way for a woman to leave an abusive man, for example. And I would stand there in shock, open-mouthed, listening. I simply didn't get it. This was a story about my ex-wife, who had just been murdered, and they were turning it into a story about spousal abuse. One expert went through various scenarios on the proper way to escape. Call the police, leave the house while he's at work, get a restraining order, yada, yada, yada. I had to turn off the TV. It was making me nuts. The saddest part is, people bought it. If it was on the news, it had to be true. Many months later, when I was sitting in prison, being tried on 2 counts of murder, I was visited on several occasions by Dr. Lenora Walker, a real expert on battered women. And she agreed with what Dr. Bernard Yudowitz had told me, that I did not have the personality of a batterer. She had subjected me to a number of standardized tests, and while I was happy with her conclusion, I've got to tell you, just to be honest here, that those tests were pretty much bullshit. I remember pointing this out to her. You have some questions on there that don't make any sense at all, I said. She asked for examples, and I immediately came up with 2. The first was, when you walk into a room, do you think everyone is looking at you? Fucking A, they're looking at me. I don't think it, I know it. Everybody is looking at me. The second was, do you think you're the subject of conversation in most social situations? Hell yeah, I am the subject of conversation. Now, if a guy who sells insurance says that, and I don't have anything against guys who sell insurance, it might mean he's got some kind of personality disorder. Hell, for all I know, it makes him a wife abuser. But it doesn't mean shit when I say it, because it's the truth. I remember telling Dr. Walker, it isn't that simple. People are different. I don't see how you can put so much faith in these tests. And I told her this after she came to me with the results, after she decided I didn't have the makings of an abusive husband. And I told her this for one very simple reason. I didn't need anyone to tell me that I wasn't abusive, let alone some bogus tests. I knew I wasn't abusive. But that's not what the media wanted to hear. It didn't bolster their story. As far as they were concerned, I was the one and only suspect, and they were going to make a case against me before I even went to trial.